Okay. Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about Annabeth Chase, the second book of the Percy Jackson series. Before we start, spoiler alert, in case you haven't read the book, go read the book before you come back and watch this. The book starts off with Dahlia's tree being poisoned. What is Dahlia's tree?
The tree that protects the camp.
Good job. Okay, anyways, Chiron was blamed for the poisoning and was kicked out. And so, guess who they appointed as the new camp director?
Tantal. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Tantalus. Okay, so Tantalus is honestly one of the worst choice that you can choose for a new camp director. So, Tantalus got one of the worst punishment in Tartarus.
He couldn't drink water and he couldn't reach the fruit that he was at.
Stop spoiling it. Okay, pretend you didn't hear her. Tantalus was a favorite son of Zeus, also a mortal king. And basically, he just felt like he was better than the gods. So he disrespected the gods at one of his banquets. So, at his banquet, okay, he tried to trick the gods. He cut up his own son, Pelops, and served his son to the gods as food. When the gods found out, they punished him for his arrogance, and he was sent to Tartarus. Tantalus was placed in a cool pool of water with fruit hanging overhead, and every time he tries to drink or eat the food, they run away from him. So he's like cursed to always be thirsty and hungry.
And he can never eat any food. When he tries to even get it just runs away from him.
And his actions also serve as a curse for his entire bloodline. For example, his daughter boasted that her children were better than the goddess Leto's children. Question 2. Who is Leto's children? Leto? Yeah.
I don't know who Leto
It's a
is.
Twins.
Apollo and Artemis, maybe?
Yeah, Apollo and Artemis. So, Apollo and Artemis were really angry when they heard that Niobe boasted that she was better than the goddess. So, they killed all of Niobe's 14 children.
Wow, that's a lot of children.
Yeah, a lot. And that's Tantalus' story. Okay. So we're going to Percy Jackson now. Percy Jackson and his friend Tyson is at the last day of school, and they get attacked by Laestrygonians in dodgeball class. No, not dodgeball class. In gym class, they were playing dodgeball. Anyways, Annabeth comes and saves them just on time, and she realizes that Tyson is a Cyclops, but Percy doesn't know that Tyson's a Cyclops.
Because of the mist.
Because of the mist, yes. Alright, Annabeth feels hostile towards Tyson because of his heritage, because he's a Cyclops. And it comes from trauma from when she was young and a Cyclops almost killed her, Luke, and Thalia. That gave her a bad impression on all Cyclops. Okay, anyways, they get a ride at the Grey Sisters taxi to camp. And when they arrive at camp, everything feels different. And it's like Percy knows the camp, but he doesn't really know the camp. So Percy gets a dream about Grover being trapped, and he decides to tell Annabeth. But Annabeth thinks that Percy is trying to distract her and ignores him. After Tyson gets claimed by Poseidon and Percy realizes that Tyson is actually a Cyclops, he gets mixed feelings because all the other campers are calling Tyson like a monster, and then Percy feels bad for having him as his half-brother, and then he also feels mixed feelings. Okay. Later on, Percy actually tells Annabeth about his dream of Grover being trapped on this island, and Annabeth thinks that Grover could have found the Golden Fleece. Alright. Trivia question number 3. What's the Golden Fleece?
It's a fleece from a magical ram that can cure anything it touches.
Alright. What's the story you know about the Golden Fleece? How did the Golden Ram come to be?
I don't know. Maybe there was a golden ram. And
What Greek stories is there a golden wool in it?
There was a guy named Jason, and he went to get the golden fleece.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Anyway, so that's the story that everyone knows. But there's like another real story of it, like how the wool actually started. There were two children of Zeus, Cadmus and Europa. I think it's weird because Zeus dated someone named Europa, and a moon is also named after Europa. Anyways, they were about to be offered as human sacrifices, and of course, who wants to be killed? So they prayed to Zeus to save them. And Zeus sent this magical flying ram with
A golden fleece.
Yeah.
With rings.
Yep. I just said magical flying ram. Anyways, they got on the ram and it carried them all the way to Colchis in Asia Minor. Actually, it only carried Cadmus because Europa fell off halfway.
Oh no.
But that's not important. So the thing is that Cadmus gave the golden fleece to Colchis as like a gift for letting him stay there, and the fleece made the city prosper, and which meant that the fleece could also restore the camp and make it even better. So the Annabeth and Percy decide to tell Tantalus, but it backfires and Clarice gets sent on the quest instead. So they decide to secretly go on the quest. On the way, they see a crew. Oh, I should tell you this. Okay, in Grover's dream, he's actually searching for the god of nature, Pan, and he felt a similar magic to Pan, but that was actually the Golden Fleece. And the Golden Fleece is currently on Polyphemus' island. Do you know who Polyphemus is?
It's a giant who's a descendant, not well, like a child.
Yeah, a child
of Poseidon, and then basically.
Hey, shh. Okay. Anyways, so basically, Grover gets attracted to the Golden Fleece, and he goes to Polyphemus' island, and Polyphemus' island is in the Sea of Monsters. So that's where they're headed right now. And on the way to the Sea of Monsters, they see a cruise ship called the Princess Andromeda. And when they get on it, they notice that something's a little weird. And then they encounter Luke on the ship and figure out that he poisoned Thalia's tree and blah, blah, blah. And
had a gold box that contained Cronus's remains.
Yeah, that's true. Which means that Cronus could rise. And anyways, and then they escape, because they always do. And they were then rescued by Clarice. And then I forgot what happened. Like, some kind of explosion happened. Or not an explosion, let me see. This is why you always have your book with you. Okay, yeah, I forgot. I'm not going to do this.
I think there's an explosion in the engine room.
I think it was something like that, too. So, after that, they end up on this random island in the middle of the ocean, and Percy becomes a guinea pig while Annabeth gets a huge makeover. But then Annabeth decides that she doesn't want the huge makeover and decides to save Percy instead. And Percy does not become a guinea pig in the end. He actually does become the guinea pig for some time, but they're sailing, and before they reach Polyphemus' island, they encounter the sirens. What do sirens do?
They sing with their sweet voices and lure sailors to their islands until they crash into
What
the
do the
rocks
songs
and die.
show you?
The dreams that you've always wanted in your whole entire life.
That's true. Your greatest desires, basically. So, Annabeth, she wanted to find out her greatest desire, which could also lead her to her fatal flaw. And so she decides to listen to their song. Annabeth sees a perfect family with goddess of wisdom Athena, her dad Frederick Trace, and a Luke who did not turn evil. She also sees them in a city that she designed because she believed that she could be better than everyone else. And with that, she realized her fatal flaw is hubris, or deadly pride. Afterward, they finally reached Polyphemus' island. Yay! Okay, so Polyphemus actually...
Wait, you forgot to add that Annabeth cut herself and ran away and tried to swim towards the sirens.
Yeah, but Percy saves her.
Yeah, because Percy always does.
Okay, we're not going to be mean towards Percy, okay? Anyways, so Polyphemus comes from the story of the Odyssey, a collection of stories told by Homer. Basically, Odysseus, this guy who just finished the Trojan War, he's the guy who came up with the idea for the Trojan horse to get into Troy.
And then he called himself Nobody.
Okay, stop spoiling. Okay, basically, his crew gets lost and they end up on this random island with a lot of caves. So him and his best men goes into the cave and they find cheese and milk, and he was gonna steal it, but then he decided to like bring this big bottle of wine for a gift to bargain with the food. So he waited for the owner to come back, and he shouldn't have done that. The owner was Polyphemus, a cyclops, also a son of Poseidon. And the cyclops didn't listen to them, and he just ate Odysseus' men. So Odysseus came up with a smart idea. He told the cyclops that his name was Nobody, and nobody. And he gave the cyclops the wine to drink. And the wine actually is like very strong. You're supposed to mix it with a lot of water before you drink it. And Cyclops don't drink wine, so he doesn't have a really high resistance against them. So he like fell asleep really fast. And using that time, Odysseus sharpened a wooden stick, I think, and poked it into the Cyclops' eye. And the Cyclops woke up screaming and yelling that nobody hurt me. Nobody poked a stick in my eye. The other Cyclops heard him and thought he was going crazy. Because if nobody was hurting you, then why are you screaming? So anyways, the important thing is that using the same trick, calling herself Nobody, Annabeth and Percy and Tyson steal the golden...
And Claire something.
Clarice is just a burden.
Clarice
got caught too. That's why she's a burden.
And Clover. Wait, not
Grover. Okay,
Grover, not Clover.
Shush. Okay, they save Grover and give the golden fleece to Clarice to first send it back to the camp. And then they decide to go face Luke. Percy, before they like start fighting, blah blah blah, Percy tricks Luke into confessing his crimes, basically poisoning Thalia's tree, on Iris' message in front of the entire camp. And then they save the day.
Like usual.
Hey, okay, at the end of the book, Tantalus just grabbed his cheeseburger. Like, he found out he could actually grab it then. And he was going to eat it, and then the Dionysus, the god of wine, sent him back to Tartarus, and it was sad. And at the end of the story, Thalia, the pine tree, turns back into Thalia, the human. So, everything's good. Thank you for watching. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, the end.